Custom Garage.
So in this video, we're going to try to pull the motor, transmission, transfer case. Excuse me. I'm going to pull all of this out and see if we can get it cleaned up enough to put it in the Jetta. So first off, there's a shifting cable. I got that taped up into a little ball. We'll leave that alone. Gonna take the exhaust apart here for now. I like to put the whole exhaust on if I can, but just for ease of using it, we're gonna take it apart there. We've disconnected the downstream O2 sensor on this side. So that'll just be out of the way. We'll leave that there. We're gonna disconnect the drive shafts, this one, and down in there, we'll have to go underneath the truck and get that one out. And then we'll continue to, looks like the fuel lines. We'll disconnect the fuel lines up here because they're pretty rusty down here anyway. I don't really want to use any of this stuff. I'd rather put new ones in. So we'll disconnect them best we can up there. And we'll just keep working our way towards the front. We'll get everything on top of the engine. And then we'll pull it out of here. I'll use the engine hoist for the front, use the lift on the back, and just pick everything straight up nice and even. So let's get to it. Fuel lines go into the back here. The one that goes to the pressure valve goes back to the filter. There's a bracket right here on the transmission, holds the cable here. Loosen that up and that should come off. Take that out of the way. Oh, there's another nut behind it that'll hold this on, and then this line can come loose, and we'll get this out of the way. Ground strap bolts in here, goes to the front harness right there. The other one went to, I think, the battery. They plugged in right here in the harness on the left-hand side. These two lines go to this canister. This one goes back to the tank. That one goes across the engine. It's got a little green thingy on it. Kind of a pain in the butt to do. Gotta squeeze it right here really hard and pick up. So that's going back to the tank. This one goes across the engine and somewhere over there. So we're just gonna keep it up and out of the way. That's one more thing disconnected. It's got a bracket here, a couple bolts on the back here. So I'll get this off. This piece will come off. We're probably gonna need to find a place for that in the Jetta. Now the drive shaft's been removed, both U-joints taken off the front and the rear shafts. The exhaust is disconnected here. I'm gonna have to disconnect it back there somewhere so that I still have the other O2 sensor connected. Fuel lines are disconnected. Pull the radiator and all of its lines out. Next, we're going to work on getting the steering off that. Then this side should have nothing left but the motor mounts on it. Then we'll have to see what's still connected on this side. Hopefully not too much more. And we'll be ready to pick this thing up. So the motor mounts are out. I think everything's disconnected. Of course, when I start lifting, we'll know. What I've done, got a leveler engine hoist brackets. It's mounted to the front of the engine here. It's in the back of the engine over there. I have a chain fall going across with a chain wrapped around the back of the transfer case. Hopefully I can just lift this whole thing up nice and easy. So we're gonna try to pick it up. Actually, then we gotta get the drive shaft out of here, so I'm gonna do that now. And then we're gonna try to pick this up nice and easy. and get the frame out of here. So we're gonna get, like I said, we're gonna get the drive shaft here out because it's wrapped around the exhaust. We don't need that hassle. That's the only thing I can see that may get in the way. All right, we should be able to pick it straight up. So to the best of my knowledge, everything is disconnected. We're gonna start picking it up and see if there's anything left that we missed. That's it. Motor's out. We're gonna clean up this mess. And then we'll have to move the frame out of the way so we can get the Jetta back in. Move this engine all the way forward. We'll pick the body up off the Jetta. And then we'll be able to set this back in there and get an idea where it's gonna fit. Okay, I have the engine on the ground. What I did is I took 2 sets of go jacks. I put a piece of plywood, a couple bit 2 by, I don't know, 10s or 12s underneath. Jacked it all up. Made myself a little cart. So now I can roll it around. I'm gonna get it out of the way for now, so I can get the Jetta in and get the body up on the lift. Yeah, just as easy as that. It's out of the way. So I had the truck outside and needed to turn it around. Obviously something that's hard to do by ourselves. My go jacks are busy holding the motor up, and there's 2 more underneath the cab to move that around. So we ran to Harbor Freight and I bought 4 of these. I haven't used them yet. They're not sponsored by Harbor Freight. So I just figured I'd give them a try and see how these work out. Hopefully they'll fit underneath that truck. I'll be able to move the truck around a little easier. And definitely if they move the truck, they're worth the money. So let's see how they do. Open the box. The jacks go like this. The wheels are not on it. Looks like it's pretty simple to do. The locks go on the outside. And put it on. Simple as that. I bought 4 of these. This is the 3rd one. Now I've already got 2 underneath the front of the truck. But I thought I'd show you these things. Over time, we'll see if they're any good. The other set I had from Harbor Freight were cheaper than these. And as far as I'm concerned, they work great. So this Daytona brand, I guess, is a little step up from what I had. Don't really know yet, but we're going to try them. They tighten with an 18mm. Just snugging them up. That's that. We're going to do 1 more, and then we're going to put them underneath the back of the truck, and we're going to see if we can roll this thing around a little bit. So it's dark outside, so we're going to try to do this nice and easy. We'll see how these go jacks work. And hopefully the pavement out here is so-so, but We'll see if we can move this truck around. So again, like most days, I've had to clean the shop up again. I got the Jetta back inside. I sit here trying to figure out how to do what I need to do. I know I need to get the motor on this frame. My biggest problem, I guess, right now is the body needs to come up, but I need the lift to also pick up the back of the transmission as I'm loading everything back in. So honestly, at this point, don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. But somehow, I need to be able to pick that up and keep the body of the Jetta up in the air at the same time. So we're going to do some thinking. I'm going to get the body up first. I got to remove a few things. I've got to get this front radiator mount off. This is where the radiator mounted in, and this little bar off. I got to get the sway bar down where it belongs. When I put the things together, I got it too high, so we get this down where it belongs. And we're going to try to figure out how to get the motor in there. Though right now, I got to figure it out. I don't know. I know I can pick the motor up. I just don't know if I get the back of it high enough to get over the frame. Maybe I'll let the air out of the tires, get this thing as low as possible. So yeah, we're gonna figure it out. For now, we're just gonna get the body up in the air and go from there. Before I pick the body up, I want to take these rear shocks out. I'm not going to use them. They don't need to be there. To get those out, I got to take the interior panels off on both sides, take the tray off here, and that'll give me access to the top. So we're going to do those first, and then we'll pick the body up. Bill dropped the package tray down. Now I have access to the top of the shocks, and we got these panels off, so now I can clean all this stuff really good. So those side panels there were really nasty. So we'll get all that clean. We'll clean all of this real nice. We'll get these shocks out of here and probably just fill that hole in. Maybe just put a nut and bolt through it, close it off. And that'll be that. So here's my thoughts. I picked the body up just high enough to clear the frame. So the frame now can roll underneath the body. I grabbed a piece of square stock that I have. I think it's 1.5 inches square. I'm putting that across the lift. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roll the frame out. I'm gonna roll the engine underneath the body and pick it up with the lift. I'm not sure if this is going to work here, if I need to move it further forward yet, but at least if I get the body, the chassis out, I'll put the engine underneath it, pick the body and the engine up together, and then roll the chassis back underneath it. Hopefully this will work. Now that the body's up, I put the radiator support back in just to get an idea from the front of that support down. Engine probably should go back a little further, but it's not level yet, so I'm not too concerned. What I can see is that the distributor is here. That's about 6 inches into the firewall. So we're definitely going to have to cut off some of this firewall and go from there, because it's definitely in the way. So before we can go much further, we're going to pull this back out. We're going to take the dash out and then we're going to start cutting away on the firewall and giving ourselves some room. Up right here with some Phillips holding this lower panel on. I don't know if I take the whole dash apart or just the lower section and get the heater box out. We'll see. Took out the bolt for the steering column right here. It's got a spring behind it, so be careful to put that back in. And then we're going to disconnect the master cylinder and get that out of here. Disconnect these wires wherever they may go. And you can see how this shaft is at quite an angle. I'm probably gonna have it go straight out, so there'll be some adjustments going on there. We're gonna try to get this carpet out a little bit, see what's going to entail that. I still need to try to figure out how to get the heater box out. One step at a time. So I got the bottom of the dash out, heater plenum, all that stuff. It's all a big pile here on the ground. I stopped recording. I had to actually look on YouTube to find out where the screws were that I was missing. There's so many little places that they hide a screw that I didn't know. So hats off to the guys who already had videos out on how to take an MK2 Jetta apart. It was enough that I got all that out. I'm going to take the rug out now and get the steering column disconnected and start seeing how much I need to cut. So with the dash mostly out, I couldn't figure out why. I watched the video, the guy taking one out of his car, and this thing would not move. His popped right out, this didn't. What I found was inside the cowl panel, there was two nuts. They screwed onto the back of this, and that's what stopped this from coming out. Everything else was exactly the same. I don't need it all the way out, so I'm gonna leave it like this for now. But it's two nuts inside the cowl panel stopping this thing from wanting to move. Today's goal is to get the engine in place. I don't have any motor mounts yet, obviously, so we're not going to be able to bolt it in, but we should be able to get an idea of where it's going to need to be. Got to remove this still. I got to lift up the front and get my sway bar down where it belongs. Got to remove that drive shaft, and then we can set the motor in. Hopefully tonight we can at least get it in place, and then we'll see exactly how much of the firewall needs to go. What I did was put a 1.5 inch square tubing across my lift. I chained the back of the transmission to that. I got my hoist up in the front. I'm going to connect that to the front of the engine. So I'm going to pick the front of the engine up, I'll pick the car up with the engine and slide the frame underneath all of it. And then we just got to figure out where to make some motor mounts. Well guys, the first thing I see is the exhaust is going to be in the way. So as that exhaust comes out and goes wide, it just clears on this side, but the engine motor's way too far over. It's not centered at all. And if I try to center it, it won't work. So the exhaust ain't gonna work. We'll probably have to go with definitely with headers. So we're gonna cut this exhaust off. Give ourselves some more room. That's definitely not going to work. Well, that's right about where it's going to go. Now we got to make some brackets of some kind or something just to hold it up for now. See where everything's going to end up permanently. What I ended up doing was wrapping a chain around the frame and under the transmission. And I stuck some blocks of wood under the engine. And that's just going to hold it there for now. What I end up doing, I think I'm going to go online, I'm going to order the front engine mount. And then we'll make a back one to match. But I think we look pretty good here. Back may go down just a little bit more. Engine's in. Happy with that. I got to roll it back now. Start figuring out what I've got to cut. Because obviously it's not going to fit in there. So we're going to give it some room. Well, the motor's in place, kind of. I'm going to wait. I ordered the motor mount to change the Jeep to a V8. That should fit right up to this, hopefully. If not, we'll know. But that'll locate the engine where it's going to have its final resting point. Then we can make a training mount to go with it, start lowering the body and figure out exactly where the cuts are. So that should do it for this for now. We're going to have to get on to some other things while we wait for the parts. They said probably the end of the week. Please hit the like, subscribe, notifications, leave a comment, share with your friends. Channel's growing. I really appreciate y'all. And we'll see where this ends. Well, thank you very much.